You put yourself in those situations where you're capable of doing something. If I can help one person, all this time and this effort would be so worth it. Hey everybody, my name is Clayton and thank you so much for joining my channel, New Patterns guys. Today I want to talk about depersonalization, derealization. What does it mean? Why do we have it? And what we can do about it. So if you would go ahead and do me this one favor, subscribe. If you like mental health awareness content, I post videos about it and maybe you can learn something. Tell one of your friends, share it if they have a mental health disorder. And also if you would click that notification bell on, you'll be notified every single time that I upload a video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Simple as that. I'm waiting. Thank you. So depersonalization is actually a condition where somebody feels detached from oneself. And then derealization is a condition where somebody experiences a disconnect with the world around oneself. Those are kind of the differences, the basic differences. So let's talk about depersonalization real quick. So depersonalization seems to be kind of like an out-of-body experience where you're not really connected with yourself and you tend to think that you are drunk or maybe numb physically. Those are some signs of depersonalization, or like lightheaded. Some people think they have enlarged arms, or some people will even think that they're watching themselves. So with depersonalization, somebody's living life day to day as they're sort of like a robot, right? And it can be very distressing. The sad thing is going and researching depersonalization, because I've never struggled with depersonalization on my own. I've struggled with derealization, we'll get to that in a second. But you look at videos and stuff and people are talking about this miracle fix where, hey, you want to cure your derealization, you want to cure your depersonalization, all you have to do is get rid of anxiety.
Just do it!
Okay, great, that's great to know, but it's easier said than done, and I understand that. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. There's no, hey, quick fix and you watch this video, you're gonna be better tomorrow. This is more of like an informative video because I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. You have a mental disorder from either trauma or from anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and it is terrible, and I feel for you. Like I said, depersonalization I've never struggled with, but I can only imagine. And that's all I can do, because I will never know what that's like and what that feels like for you. But based on some of the stories and the experiences, it sounds very, very miserable. And I would not wish that upon my worst enemy. And if you are suffering with that, just know that my heart goes out to you. But in the end, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you might be finding comfort in this video. And I'm glad that you're fighting, and all you got to do is just keep fighting. Now, as for derealization, this is something I've experienced, and it's kind of funny because I wasn't diagnosed with panic disorder until I was about 18, 19 years old. And before my panic attacks, I would have these kind of weird dreamy things in around age 13 or 14. And I did not know what was going on, but I wasn't like panicky about them. I just was like looking at my hands and I'm just like, I'm in a dream. I feel like I'm not connected with the world. I feel like I'm feel like so foggy and not everything's clear. And I was just living like in a simulation or something. It was very, very strange to be in that situation. That's actually the common symptoms with derealization. So if you are struggling with that, you probably have a sense that the world's not real, that you're in a dream. You will kind of like look at your hands maybe and you'd be like, what's going on? Am I living in this world? Because you're detached, not from yourself, but from the world. It seems like it's very, very unusual to experience. I remember suffering with derealization, and I would remember that objects, I would look at something and something would get bigger, and then something would be smaller. And I remember swimming in a pool and it was like swimming in a lake. It was very distorted. My view was very distorted. So why do we experience depersonalization and derealization? Well, I'm currently in psychology, and I kind of learned a lot about the fight or flight system. And I have a panic disorder and anxiety, GAD, and Think about this. When you are driving, and let's say if you've ever been in a car wreck, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a moment where you're about to wreck, and it's just kind of like, boom, lights out, right? You don't really remember a certain point of the crash. Or when somebody is experiencing a panic attack or something, they don't remember much of like what's going on, but they remember a lot like towards the end and towards the beginning. The part where activity is happening, your brain just kind of shuts off because your fight or flight turns on. So what's that doing? Well, you're actually, you get that increased heart rate, you become lightheaded, your hands start to get tingly. Some people even have shortness of breath, they start to hyperventilate. That is because you are getting, your brain senses something and it fires, but nothing's there. And that's called the amygdala. Not very smart part of the brain, by the way, because it's stupid. It fires for no reason sometimes. And we're just like, what's going on? Why am I freaking out? And it's like a wave of anxiety just smashes you and you get this adrenaline rush. So that is like your typical fight or flight that everybody experiences, at some point, where somebody would jump out and scare you, your heart rate speeds up, then it goes back down. That's normal, okay? It is perfectly fine to be human and have a fight or flight system. The problem is, for a lot of us who have experienced trauma, who have experienced depression, panic attacks, we can't turn that fight or flight down. There's something going on in your autonomic nervous system where your sympathetic is now in overdrive and your parasympathetic, which is your rest and digest, that's opposite to fight or flight, cannot take over. So your fight or flight stays dominating your parasympathetic, and guess what? You experience depersonalization. Why? Well, your brain is trying to get you out of that situation. It's trying to use the vital organs, trying to use your heart, it's trying to use your leg muscles. That's why you kind of get tense when you're anxious, right? There's so many things going on. So when you experience depersonalization and derealization all the time, that's why. So the treatments, well, depersonalization and derealization seem to kind of be a add-on with whatever you have. So if you have trauma, or if you have depression, or if you have anxiety and panic attacks, depersonalization seems to be an add-on to those. You do develop, it's a real disorder, it's a real condition, right? But you develop it because of those certain things. For example, you have a panic disorder. Your depersonalization is probably going to get worse when you have panic attacks. You have undiagnosed trauma from childhood or being a young adult that you haven't addressed. So when something that you don't know of triggers it, you're going to experience depersonalization. If you're depressed, when you're depressed, you might experience depersonalization or derealization. These are normal things that are happening to your body. Actually, what's really interesting is that having DP and DR, the biggest misconception is that somebody is going to go into psychosis, right? Or somebody's in psychosis. The problem there is that people that go into psychosis aren't aware of it. It's kind of the old saying, if you think that you're crazy, you're probably not crazy. Because crazy people don't know they're crazy. So if you think I'm going crazy, odds are you're not going crazy. Because you are actually aware that something's not right, something's not normal, and that's a very good sign. So having this doesn't mean that you have some type of brain disease or you have some type of mental disorder that's not diagnosed and it's severe, like schizophrenia or anything like that. It's a symptom, it's a add-on to whatever you're experiencing typically. There's a minority of cases where somebody would have this without experiencing anxiety, depression, trauma, or anything like that. That's a minority of cases though. So when you say treatment, I would say, are you trying to treat the depersonalization and the derealization? Odds are you should probably treat the root cause, right? I always tell people this if you're new here. A lot of people who experience heart palpitations will actually try to treat the palpitations instead of treating what's causing them. So I say what you should try treating what's causing your depersonalization, derealization. Whether that be working out with a therapist. I've heard that CBT is actually beneficial. Antidepressants can be beneficial. obviously can have an adverse effect too. You just need to be careful. I recommend that you talk to your doctor, talk to your therapist about any mental health issues. Like I said, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor. I'm here to help you out, and I just want what's best for you. So if you could do that for me, that would be wonderful. I want you guys to keep fighting this nasty illness, because you can do it. And I believe in you, and you have a whole community in the comment section that is here for you. And we know what you're going through, because anxiety, depression, trauma, we've all experienced it, one or the other, and it's not fun, but we're here for you. Comment down below if you've ever had any symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, if you've been diagnosed with DR or DP, and let me know what you do day to day that helps, or something that triggers it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single comment, every single view. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I don't charge anything or anything to talk to you. You can talk to me anytime you want. My name is Clayton Keeney. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, and I'll put the spelling right here, because I know Keeney can mix some people up. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I hope to see you back here next time.